Hello everyone and welcome back to Milo Farms. Merry Christmas and hope everybody is having a wonderful holiday so far. Weather has not been very cooperative this year. We've had a lot of wind and a lot of rain in the last couple weeks, but it's been fairly warm. So I haven't been able to really do any snowmobiling yet. The snow isn't built up yet until you get way up in the high country. So we're just about wrapped up with the holiday season here, and this is the 2024 Milo Farms light show for Christmas. So remember that this whole display is synchronized to music. A person that comes to the display would tune their car radio to the appropriate radio station, and they could view the display from there. So we'll go ahead and walk through and take a look at what we have this year. A lot of it is the same, and we also have some new additions. So on this street we have about 6 properties that are all light, some of them synchronized to the music, some of them not. So starting off at the display here, we have the Singing Santa Claus with the Christmas presents. We moved the Singing Santa Claus this year a little bit because we had changed the way the controllers were set up to try to simplify things, and doing more wireless controllers to eliminate some of the data cabling. It also eliminates the risk of any short-circuiting or anything like that if there's less cabling. So we moved the Santa out here onto that sawhorse, and that's worked pretty well so far this year. One of the new additions we just picked up in the last couple weeks actually were a whole bunch of these blow molds. These were popular years and years ago and kind of went by the wayside with the addition of inflatables, but they're starting to make a comeback, and especially these smaller ones. So we picked up a whole bunch of these smaller ones on a really good deal this year, and so we have a bunch of them added to the display. We still haven't settled with where they're going to be positioned for the future displays, but we just kind of have them spread out sporadically for now. Moving up here by the garage, we have the light projection there on the garage. We picked those up last year to replace some older ones that had gone bad. So up here on the garage, you can see the blue lights that are above the garage door. Those are actually set up on, in this case, controller number 3, and the programming is that would be on the arches that would go with the lightorama. But in our case, we put them on these lights above the door because we opted to do something less traditional instead of the arches. So we found these lights, these large Christmas bulbs, and that's actually worked out really well. We also have the snowflakes up on the roof that you'll see in a little bit that are also on that controller 3 as the other arch. So those actually look pretty cool when you step back at a distance. Here's another one of our new additions, is this wreath. Picked that up just recently as well. Mrs. Milo Farms had been wanting one of those for a while, and we found one. So that's turned out really well. I think next year we're going to move the big snowflakes off the gable, move them somewhere else, and put the wreath up on the gable. Then we have the Merry Christmas sign that Mrs. Milo Farms made a couple years ago. That's worked out really well. And we have the snowman, and then all the little blow molds. Like I said, we're going to find a better place for all those in the coming years, and also figure out a way to keep them from tipping over as easily. But with the wind that we've had this year and all the weather, it's been a little tough. Moving on over here, we have our lighted deer. We actually ended up losing one of the deer this year with an electrical problem, so that one is gone by the wayside, and we've picked up some replacements that will be available when these also go the same way. And then we picked up this Santa Stop Here sign. It's a little hard to tell on video with the lights what it says, but I think we'll find a better place for that next year as well. Continuing to hope this year that everybody kept their names off the naughty list, but we've got our inflatable Santa with the goat, which goes right along with our farm theme. We've had that one for a few years. Also got a couple new inflatables here, and a couple that we've had to relamp if you checked out that more recent video. Over on the right we have the large mega tree, and that actually has 16 light strings that run individually, as well as the star, which makes 17 different things happening on that tree at one time. So each one of these fruit trees around the yard is tied in with one of the lights on the front fence, So if you look at the front fence, each part of that coordinates with one of the trees as it goes around. You can also see the dripper lights that we have there in some of the trees. And here's Rudolph making his appearance. You can really see here the difference between the inflatables that have had the lights replaced, such as Rudolph has, and then the little dog here has not had the light replaced. It's going to need to be replaced next year. And we have Santa making an appearance in the window again. Looks like he found the cookies, and he also has the presents. And up on the roof you can see the Santa and the reindeer landing. Interesting story to those. We actually picked those up when I was probably 5 years old or so. My grandmother got those from the local neighborhood hardware store. The gentleman that owns that hardware store, he finally sold it to an Ace Hardware and then sold that out a few years after that. And I run into him occasionally and talk to him, and it's always interesting, you know, the things that he says, you know, do you still have whatever it was that he sold us, a lawnmower or things like that. He's always curious to know that all the things that he's ever sold us were still working and usable. You can see the snowflakes up on the roof. Those are coordinated to the controller number 3 as the arch would be, so they track back and forth in different sequences. And you can see the Tune 2 sign up on the roof. Lastly, on this side of the road, the reindeer stable. You can see that left reindeer is having a light bulb issue that we're going to need to address next year. But this inflatable we've had for quite a while, and it's always been really good and been popular. Here is the other side of the road that's also coordinating with the same lightorama. You can really see the fence and how it goes back and forth and tracks with the music. Also have the house illuminated and a few more inflatables. Like I said, we've got about 6 properties on this street here that have lights this year. It's turned out really well. One of the houses down the street just a little bit, and then here is the last part of our display right here. You can see all the inflatables and the projection on the garage there. The Grinch inflatable in the back there with the sled and Max, that's been really popular. That's one of our favorite inflatables. So our display turned out great this year. Everybody's really enjoyed it. We've had a lot of visitors come by. It's been a lot of fun. So hope everybody enjoyed the video. Hope you have a great holiday season. And remember, you can't finish a project without getting started.